talking to myself. I find myself always in those conversations. But so it could be internal, it could be external. But all of us who experience an event, if somebody rushed in the store right now, they had a gun and started shooting, it would impact every single one of us, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? And some people might have the, I'm going to respond, I'm going to fight, I'm going to knock that person over. Some people might just freeze, right?
Yeah.
Some people like, oh, Mr. Shooter, let me talk to you. Like fawn over them, right?
Yeah.
And some people might just like run out the door, right? Yeah. So think about yourself and think about how you respond to those kinds of situations. And so when trauma occurs, our brain has this reaction where it might be real quick. It might run. It might try to placate. It might try to just hide. It might do any number of things. But let me tell you something. That won't be the only time you will experience that trauma. That trauma will, it's almost like every time an event, if you came back in here after you saw someone holding up a gun, every time you came back in this community center, you know what would happen? You'd feel your brain, it's almost like, think of a cave and you're like, kind of, chipping away at the cave so you can go under a tunnel. So what happens with your brain is you experience the trauma once, and then as your brain absorbs that, every single time you come back to it, if you don't begin to work it out, and even if you do, that guy who's doing the, picking away at the cave, he's getting further in, so that trauma is reaching further into our systems, right? Some people say, my mom used to tell me all the time growing up, oh, you're stressed out, just calm down. Okay, first of all, never tell anyone to shut down and calm down, okay? Because that really doesn't work so well. Connecting with them is a good way, okay? Social connection is how we interact with society, and that's what helps us get through things. So this trauma that occurred, it's now a part of you. And unless you begin to work through it, it will stay with you. And if you can imagine an onion, so to speak, maybe there's only one layer right now, but multiple layers will grow as that angst and anxiety continues to occur. And even when you're working on it, so if you know someone who's experienced a trauma, and you're like, oh gosh, Cheryl, why can't you get over this already? It's time. Well, it's not us to decide on who should get over what when, is it? No, we can't do that. That's got to be the person, that's got to be the community, okay? And you take that along with other circumstances in a community. So this might sound crazy coming from the white lady, but here I am, I'm the white lady. I walk in, I'm not going to have the same experience that some of you might have when you walk into the store. You walk in the store, someone's kind of looking at you, checking you out, what you gonna do. That does not happen to me, okay? That's what we call a microaggression. That's like targeted. It's not something that you necessarily know right away it's happening, but you can feel it. You can feel that person's eyes on you. You combine that experience of walking in the store with your trauma over here, and guess what? It makes that road harder to recover from. But on the flip side of that, it makes you so much stronger as you explore it, and it makes you so much more able to help others get through it. So when we think about what trauma is, in particular with crime survivors, somebody who has been held up by a gun, somebody who themselves has shot a gun, somebody who has lost a loved one to a murder, someone who has been raped, someone who has had their home vandalized. They've worked so hard to get this home, and now it's been vandalized, or their car's been stolen. Those are all traumas. And don't listen to anyone if they tell you that's not real, because they got something wrong with that. I'm going to tell you that right now. And another thing, if anyone tells you that, oh, by the way, I'm fine, I'm great, no problem, okay, run the other way, okay? Because everybody's got challenges. Everybody has issues. And if you don't, that means you're not working on yourself. you're not growing, right? And so it's very important for us to grow and work on those challenges. So when we think about this whole, oh, golly, guys, I'm sorry. I gotta get from my notes here. Where are they? There we go. When we think about what one experiences when they go through trauma, we talked a little bit about that already. Let me just tell you, 2.6 million people in the United States every year experience this crime of sorts. Now, you and I might be in the same family. Here we are. Cheryl and I were sisters, okay? If I'm messed up, does that mess her up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we're connected, right?
Yes.
When you hurt, your family hurts. We all, and the really interesting thing, how many of you ever walked into a room and you can kind of feel like an energy where you're like, oh, or yeah, I feel good. I feel love. So
Energy.
our feelings have contagion, okay? So they transfer. So if you walk into a room with a bunch of angry people, guess what? You'll be angry. Exactly. If you walk into a room with a bunch of happy people, guess what? It will change your mood. I'll give you this real quick mind experiment. If I start smiling at y'all, it's hard if I look at you. And you know why I smile? But you have to, because we have these mirror neurons in our face, and that we reflect each other. We are a society of social human beings, and so we depend on one another, we reflect one another, and whether we know we are experiencing that or not, we are going through it. 60% of our kids experience some kind of violent crime, etc. growing up. 60%. So if we had 10 people in here stand up, I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those 6 people have definitely experienced 7, 8, 9, 10. Now those 4 might not have, but they're connected with these 6 people. So they have experienced it, okay? In our society, do they teach that in school?
No.
No. Oh, you're supposed to get up and go to school every day, go to work, and we're all good. Keep your emotions off the job, right? Okay, that's the most nonsense I've ever heard my whole life. It is very hard to keep that out of the picture, particularly when we are going through something that is very much part of everyone's life here, some form of trauma or some experience or some issue related. So the next thing I want to just cover with you is, we talked a little bit about what trauma is, but how do you recognize it? How do you see it? So anyone got a thought on that? How would you recognize this thing, trauma?
Anger.
Anger. You see somebody can be real angry. Absolutely. What else did you see?
Behaviors.
Yep.
Behaviors.
Behaviors.
Crime.
Crime. Yep.
Isolation.
Isolation. So all those things, you guys, you know somebody. We're friends. I know that you are a happy person. Usually when you see me, you're like, hey, Jen, how you doing? But today I see you, and you're just sitting there. Am I thinking, what's going on with my friend? Yeah, I am. I hope we are. I hope we're cognizant of that, right? So being aware of the people around us and seeing those changes, it's that simple. You don't need a doctor to tell you that. You don't need anyone to tell you that, okay? You just need to be a person who cares about other people, and that's it. So there's also something called vicarious trauma. Okay, so I might not have experienced the trauma you've experienced, but if you talk to me about it, guess what? And if I'm an open person, I can begin to feel that as well. Does that make sense? And then I'm carrying it with me. Everywhere I go, I got that trauma with me until I release it. Because energy is a funny thing. It don't go away. It stays with us. It's just how we convert that energy to helping us get where we need to go. So, how does trauma impact your daily life? So if you're a kid going to school and you haven't had food, how are you doing on that math test in the morning?
Not so high.
Not so high. What if you're a kid and you don't know that there's going to be anyone's going to be home at the end of the day, at the end of the evening? If you're digging through the couch to find quarter, if you're digging through the freezer. I experienced it, like, okay, it's near the end of the month, what's left? Not much. And so that in itself is a trauma. So do you think you're going to be the best and the brightest and all these things? Well, you are a beautiful person. You are smart. I guarantee that. But the problem is that when you have barriers